The Eastern Sierra News brought to you by
T-Bar Social Club, June Lake's newest gathering place, offering June pie, New York-style pizza, and year-round entertainment in a warm, welcoming atmosphere. See you in the loop.
The Tubas fire was quiet again last night and has not increased in size. The fire remains at 9,385 acres with containment at 47%. Firefighters will be working on finishing the last part of the perimeter today on the southern side of the fire and will be strengthening that fire line to increase containment. This is the final part of the fire perimeter to secure in order to prevent any fire movement towards homes and private property. The western edge of the fire is where most of the small amount of active burning is taking place. This is where the fire is burning up into the Sierra and into a sparse fuel bed. There are no homes or private property threatened on this side. This area is very steep and dangerous to work in, so firefighters are not actively working in this area. At last report, working the Tubas fire, 25 crews, 42 engines, 10 helicopters, 3 dozers, 8 water tenders, 828 personnel. That full press release is posted on our website, sierrawave.net. And Sierra Wave Media's Bill Snyder talked at Bishop Airport about the helicopters working the Tubas fire.
My name is Jarek Dominguez, JD. I'm the superintendent on the San Ynez flight crew. I work for the Los Padres National Forest. And I'm up here as the helibase manager at Bishop, or in Bishop, California, at the airport here, where we've set up a helibase for the Tubas fire that's burning on the Inyo National Forest, just a little bit south of Big Pine.
Oh, I've got a bunch of different paperwork, how I track the helicopters, I track their missions, track their hours, when they lift up, when they come back down, how many buckets of water they took, and where they delivered them to. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different radios that I'm listening to at one different time. So this is where I fly follow. Whenever any helicopter lifts, I have to track them every 15 minutes to make sure they're at the right location and they're still operating. So this white circle is our TFR, and it's basically we build a sandbox so nobody else can come in and intrude our fire scene. So kind of a safety zone for the helicopters.
Battle 212, it's a medium. We have on the helibase itself, currently supporting the Tubas fire, we have 10 aircraft. We have 5 Type 1s, which I'll show you in a bit. We have 3 Type 2s, like the one here behind me, and 2 Type 3s, which are a little smaller aircraft, and they're all used for certain different aspects and different missions for the fire. A Type 2 helicopter, which usually comes with the crew of our crew sizes is 15 on my crew, and we fly about 8 personnel on initial attack fire. So when the alarm goes off, we load up, and I have 7 sitting in the back, and then the manager, the 8th, will be sitting up front with the pilot. So the pilot will be flying the aircraft, where the firefighters on board, that offload, and then start instructing handline and putting the fire out and trying to keep the fire small. The ways we do that is with the crew we have on board, and then back here is our cargo compartments. This is where back here is where we put our chainsaws. This is where we put the tools and our packs. Our packs range weigh between 35 to 45 pounds, and it's enough water, a gallon and a half of water, enough to support us with food and equipment for about a 12 to 24 hour shift. That would be self-sufficient if we have to get left off up on the hill or on the fire, so we can be on our own for a while. Okay. Alright, Bill, so this is a BAL 407. It's a Type 3 helicopter we call a light helicopter. These aircraft we can use them for water dropping. They also fly flight crews, like I showed you on the Type 2 medium helicopter. So we can fly up to about 4 to 5 people, firefighters on board. We can always use them for water dropping capabilities. You saw the tanks that opened on the bottom of the fixed tank there. On fires like this, on a large fire, That's in the thousands of, a few thousands of acres. We like to use them for reconnaissance, to gather information or intel on the fire. Alright, Bill, so this is one of our Type 1 helicopters. It's a heavy, what we call a heavy helicopter. Usually Type 1s are the biggest aircraft that are out there. We have 5 helicopter Type 1s here on the Tubas incident. This helicopter here is strictly for water dropping, so they help support the fire crews on the ground by cooling off the fire's edge with water dropping capabilities. They range anywhere between 1,000, 2,000, and some that can even carry up to 3,000 gallons of water that they can drop to help suppress and put out the fire. This aircraft here is another Type 1 helicopter. It's a Firehawk. It's the civilian version of a Black Hawk that we use on the fires. It's a water dropping aircraft, and the difference between this aircraft and we saw on the Sky Crane earlier is it had a fixed tank, where this is a bucketed aircraft, so it has a long line with a bucket that's capable up to 900 gallons of water. So the bucket over there holds 900 gallons of water. They also have a quick fill on the bottom of the bucket, so they can land the bottom of the bucket in 18 inches of water, something very shallow, shallow creek or river or something where they need to pool the water. And all they need is 18 inches because they have a quick fill pump that actually sucks the pump in, kind of like the snorkel, and it fills the bucket. So they're able to do that. And then they can split the loads in the bucket with a hydraulic, which stops and opens the bucket. So they can let out 300 gallons, close it, and then they can let out 500 gallons and close it, and so they can do multiple separate drops in different locations. So this is the Firehawk. Oh, yeah.
Great information. Thank you, Bill Snyder. Fire prevention personnel on the Mono Lake Ranger District of the Inyo National Forest applied for and received a $6,000 grant to be utilized toward community wildfire preparedness programs. A portion of the funding has been allocated to support defensible space and preparedness within the communities of Mono City, Lee Vining, and June Lake. The grant will provide for 30-yard roll-off dumpsters to be placed in each area where residents can dispose of pine needles, leaves, slash, and other green waste materials. The dumpsters are now available through the end of the month at the following locations: Mono City, the Mono City Volunteer Fire Station, Lee Vining, the lot adjacent to the Lee Vining Community Center, June Lake, June Mountain parking lot. Absolutely no trash or household waste is allowed, and residents are asked to help monitor and provide accountability for appropriate dumpster use in order to maximize the community benefit and ensure the continuation of such programs in the future. With the help of the grant, the Inyo National Forest aims to continue defensible space support for local communities to reduce the risk of wildfire and to help educate residents on fire preparedness. Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media. With all the stuff people have to deal with, Nate Reed, Inyo Mono Ag Commissioner, added one more at a recent Inyo Board of Supervisors meeting. Apparently, there's a new, vigorous, oversized species of tumbleweed causing havoc across the West. It's called Salsalula renai. Don't hold me accountable for that pronunciation, folks. It's not an issue in the Eastern Sierra yet, But according to Alexandra Barbella, the Ag Commissioner, project coordinator, there has been a monster tumbleweed sighting near Mono Lake. To date, the weed is thriving in California's Central Valley with sightings in San Francisco, coastal areas, and Ventura County. Supersized tumbleweeds piled up to the second story of homes in Victorville last winter. The science is fascinating. The new strain is an Alopoly poloides, a hybrid of tumbleweed native to Russia and China, and another from Australia and South Africa. The hybrid is gifted with multiple sets of chromosomes, which is why it's so scary. While human beings hope their progeny will surpass the parents' accomplishments, that's a guarantee with allopoiloids. All these chromosomes result in a super vigorous plant. Think of all the things we hate about tumbleweeds and multiply them exponentially. The new kid on the block is more invasive and able to grow to the size of a relatively tall human being. This is the stuff of horror movies. The bigger the weed, the more seeds it can disperse when it breaks free and gets airborne in the late fall and winter. According to an article in Science Alert, the weed spread from 2 sites to 15 in California over a 10-year period. To our knowledge, this is the fastest documented population number expansion of a newly formed allopolyploid species, perhaps the most dramatic known range expansion of any plant neospecies, stated researchers from the University of California, Riverside. Unfortunately, all the scientific articles do is describe the new superweed's attributes with no suggestions on how to stop them from burying the eastern Sierra valleys. The Carson and Colorado Railway finally got to Colorado. The famed narrow gauge line originally ran from Mound House, Nevada to Keeler, California on the shores of the Owens Lake, making the Colorado in the name more of a dream than a real destination. That dream came true August 23rd and 24th when members of the nonprofit Carson and Colorado Railway Company ushered more than 150 friends, volunteers, and supporters onto bright yellow passenger cars belonging to the Durango-Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad. The 2 excursion passenger trains were pulled by the restored Southern Pacific engine number 18, which the Carson and Colorado volunteers had worked on for 10 years to get it back in running shape. The rail fans got a ride from Durango to Silverton and back as one way to say thank you for their ongoing support of the locomotive restoration effort. The Slim Princess number 18 was one of the last oil-fired steam locomotives. The Slim Princess number 18 was one of the last oil-fired steam locomotives to run on the former Carson and Colorado line and spent its working life tooling between Laws and Keeler, with multiple stops in between. The engine was retired in favor of a diesel engine in the 50s. It was parked as a static display in Dehey Park in Independence. Its sister Princess, Slim Princess number 9, was installed at Laws Railroad Museum, where it remains a prime attraction. The Carson and Colorado group, headed by Dave Mull of Independence, wanted to see number 18 run on open track and also operate in a place where skilled mechanics and a full locomotive maintenance and repair shop were available to keep the 1911 locomotive in running order. The Durango and Silverton Railway has been working to diversify its stable of coal-burning engines under the direction of Randy Babcock and several other Durango engineers and mechanics who worked to restore the oil-burning number 18. The engine was used to familiarize engineers and mechanics on the differences between the 2 types of locomotives and also explore the economics of an oil-burning engine versus a coal burner. That full press release is posted on SierraWave.net. We'll be back with more news.